Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and yeah, I'm still drinking my morning coffee. Thought I would go ahead and knock out a second informative video for you guys, because I had a subscriber ask me yesterday in the comments. He's like, I'm still kind of weak. I'm a weak lifter still, fairly new. Should I be doing the push press instead of the strict press? So that's something we should probably look at. That's a good question, because they're both really good exercises. They both have their uses. Now, I want to state up front, if you do not have a base built on your strict press, you shouldn't even be considering a push press. Not for you. You need to understand the purpose of these exercises. If your goal is general size and strength, particularly size in your upper body, the strict press is a superior exercise. If you are weak and you need to build a basic strength base, the strict press is the lift you should be doing. Until you go look at strength and conditioning charts, and I link those all the time, you can even find them on Google. If you're not probably advanced for your body weight on the strict press, you shouldn't even really be thinking about the push press. It shouldn't be thinking about it. You shouldn't be doing it. What's it for? The push press is for transferring power from the lower body to the upper body into a push. It's a training tool that allows you to learn to use your leg drive, your hips, quads, glutes, to transfer power to the upper body. Well, power has a strength component. If you do not have any upper body strength, there is no power to create in the upper body. And the perfect example, look how many guys we see. I go to when I was going to commercial gyms, I was going to 24-hour fitness, for example, for a while. And I was before I built my home gym, I was over in the functional strength area, because that's where I spent all my time, because there were racks, rows and rows of racks, and Olympic platforms. I would see men in there who had obviously been training a while doing push presses with 115 pounds. If you're strict pressing 115 pounds for 5 reps, you have no business being near a push press at all. You don't have a strength base built. You have no power to transfer. And they are shortchanging their muscle growth and their strength, because the push press, because it's not getting, again, where you can do a bit of a layback and stretch at the bottom, is not going to build the upper chest, the long head of the triceps, things like that, as effectively as the strict press does. People who need to build their bench strength, the strict press has better carryover. That's been noted by a lot of coaches over the years. I've seen whole debates on that over the years, of coaches even arguing that and saying, well, I'm not saying the push press doesn't help, but I see a lot of guys who have a strong push press who still have a weak bench. I've never met anybody with a strong strict press who doesn't have a respectable bench, a decent bench. Note the difference. That's been noted. It's been noted. And you guys need to understand, when it comes to general size and strength, a lot of people are going to do more than 3 reps, right? You don't need to be doing high reps on a push press. Why? Because it's a power exercise. It's an exercise that is utilized to help you develop power transfer. Can you have maximum power for more than 3 reps, even with a light weight? No, not without at least 60 seconds between them. You can't generate maximum force more than about 3 reps. That's why the 1 to 3 rep range is the power rep range. You simply can't produce power for large numbers of reps in too short of a period of time, like one set. It just doesn't work. The body doesn't work that way. Your nervous system won't do it. So you see people sitting there using it almost for conditioning. Now, that's fine. If you want to use it as a GPP exercise as part of a barbell complex, that's different. That's conditioning, a strength-based conditioning. But you are not going to develop power and strength doing that. Not to the same degree. Build your base on the strict press. Now, people say, well, who should be looking towards the push press? People who need power transfer. People who are athletes who need to be able to transfer power from their lower body into their upper body. How about a football player, someone who needs to hit someone on the field with leg drive and push them? Right? Push press is amazing for a football player. But if you're sitting around doing push press as a football player, you haven't built a strict press base or a squat base yet, you don't have any power anyway. You're not going to do anything useful with this. You need to be strong. If you're going to play football, you need to be getting, even high school football, you need to get your strict press up to at least 200 pounds. That needs to be a top priority. You can work on some push press a little bit, but you better get that strict press up to 200 because you don't have any power to transfer. You better get your squat up to 400 pounds or you don't have any power to transfer. Again, power requires strength. It's strength over time. How explosively can you display the strength that you have? About a boxer and MMA fighter. Yeah, because they need to learn to use some leg drive and hip drive into a punch so they can hit harder. Right? Makes sense. Contact sports, combat sports. People who have to throw things. Basketball player, a baseball player. Yeah. There's some benefit here from a strength and conditioning perspective. People who need to throw things. Shot putter. Yeah, all these athletes, the push press has a lot of potential value. But until you've built a strength base, what are you going to do with it? What's the point? For general size and strength, you do not need the push press. The strict press is a superior exercise. Now people say, well, what about your lower body? Well, you need to learn to get that lower body involved. Yeah, but that's why we have squats and deadlifts and things like that. They do a much, much better job of doing that. Right? They do a much better job at doing that. So you need to worry about building the size and strength of your upper body, and the strict press is going to allow that more. And again, we can get into this argument, but what about the eccentric loading? Are you really lowering a weight slowly on a push press? And if you are, you're leaving pounds on the floor. You get some eccentric loading there, but if your goal is to develop a bunch of strength, you really think the eccentric loading from a little bit more weight on that and then using a cheat to bring it up is going to do that much difference on that? Not really. Furthermore, that eccentric loading isn't going to be helpful because no matter how much you start lowering it somewhat slow, it speeds up when you get near the bottom. You're not really going to get that eccentric overload from that stretch at the bottom and the layback that you're going to get on a strict press. You are going to develop certain things less effectively no matter how strong you get. Things like, again, your upper chest up here, the long head of the tricep. Now, you might develop just as much shoulder. You know, your traps, especially if you can get a hard lockout at the top and shrug it up, your traps, your delts, all of that will probably get just as much development. That's not a problem. But there are elements of your triceps, like, again, the long head, things like your chest, you are going to get less out of it, out of a push press. So you're simply going to get bigger and stronger using that. And again, if you're already squatting and deadlifting, you're not going to get a lot of lower body development out of the push press. What it is used is a tool to train you to, again, transfer power from the lower body, so your power development there, to transfer it into the upper body. And it's a very effective tool for that. Like I said, if you compete in certain types of sports, the push press is a fantastic exercise. But if you are base building or your goal is just general strength or size, or you're still a weak novice, you're in your first year in the gym, I think the push press is counterproductive compared to doing a strict press. And the number of people I see in functional fitness areas who still have an insanely weak push press, who've been training a while, they're push pressing numbers that are weaker than they should be strict pressing. Tell us a lot about what it does by itself if you're not incorporating a strict press with it. They're not getting a whole hell of a lot out of it. So for the majority of people out there, the strict press is what you need to be doing. Use the push press as it's needed for your specific goals, but one could even argue, depending upon what you're doing, it not be an either or, it might need to be both. In other words, don't allow your strict press strength to regress while you spend a bunch of time on the push press. You probably need to come in and still be doing some strict press work if you are going to push press. It would probably still be a real wise idea. So in the case of people who use the push press, it's not an either or, they need to be doing both. So ultimately what it comes down to is the majority of you out there need to be strict pressing no matter what. You still need to maintain a base on that. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.